So I was at the Chinese restaurant last night, and it was a slow enough night that the owner was able to stop and have a conversation. And during this conversation, someone mentioned a contradiction, and that sort of got her started on a somewhat of a tangent about the word contradiction. And in Chinese, it is Maau Teon. Um, So she went into this story about the warrior who thinks he has the ultimate equipment. And so I've got my spear, which is in Cantonese is Mao, and this spear can break through anything. And I got this shield, which in Cantonese is Tun, and this shield is impregnable. And so I have the ultimate equipment. And someone asked him, okay, so what if you take your spear and stab your shield with it? Will the will the spear break through because it can break through anything, or will it be deflected because the shield can't be penetrated? And so spear shield, or Maau Teon, is the Cantonese expression for a contradiction. Now, my spelling in the title there, I got from the internet. So basically, went to several language translators, Cantonese or English to Cantonese, typed in contradiction, and I got the Chinese symbols for Mao and Tun. Not much out there. So I did a search under, it's like contradiction, Cantonese pronunciation, or something like that. I forget what exactly it was. And it came up with a spelling Maau space Teon. Same page mentioned that in Mandarin it is a similar Maau-Dun for contradiction. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Several other spellings at guesses brought me into Maodun, who was apparently a Chinese author in the earliest 20th century. Nothing to do with the current topic, but I thought I'd throw that out there because I came across it. So then I decided to try a reverse search. Now that I have the supposed spelling of it, I will type in Maauduteon into various translators and see what comes out. And I tried that. Apparently, any Cantonese to English translators are expecting you to put in a symbol because nothing came out. Or all it said was Maauteon. So whatever I typed in English appeared as the English translation, or English letters, I should say, not in English. So nothing much came out. I did try, let's try a Google search, typing in these Maauteon. And I got a Wikipedia article on aggressive contradiction, which is apparently a phrase that Vladimir Lenin came up with to describe class struggle and how they will never be able to, the classes will never be able to get along because of this. So it had, aggressive contradiction, then in parentheses in Chinese, and it had the two symbols for Mao and Tun. And so I tried, let's do a search here. In other words, let's use the browser function to find the actual Maauteon, and apparently those don't appear anywhere in the Wikipedia article. So is this the correct spelling? I don't know. I'm going to use it. Someone might read this and say you got, you don't know what you're talking about because it's spelled wrong, and my spelling comes from the internet, which, admittedly is wrong sometimes. So that's just my justification of my spelling. So anyway, we're having this conversation, and so one of her arguments is, that English is so hard to learn. And contradiction, you have to learn this word contradiction. When Maau Teon, it just makes so much more sense. And my counter argument, and this is a friendly argument, Maau Teon, it just means spear shield. That's not inherently a contradiction. Spears are offensive, shields are defensive, but a warrior would still carry both at the same time. It's not like they are completely contradictory. It's something, they go together. They're actually somewhat complementary in a way. It's only if you know the story of the warrior with the supposedly ultimate weapon and ultimate shield that it becomes a contradiction. On the other hand, in English, the prefix contra means against or opposed to, and then diction deals with words. Dictionary, meaning of words, defines words. Dictating is writing down the words someone else speaks, etc., etc. So contradiction means opposing words. It makes perfect sense to someone who spoke English all his life and knows the meaning of words. Now, learning a foreign language, then sometimes learning prefixes and suffixes can help you learn the language better, but at the same time, you don't want to have to do that in order to learn new words necessarily. So for someone who was not born in America or not born in England or not born in an English-speaking country, to be expected to know that contradiction form, the word contradiction and what their meanings are. It's understandable why they would still believe that it's not easy. Now that said, like I said, spear shield though, unless you know the story behind it, it's not necessarily easier. In fact, I would go so far to say there are other words that would make a better combination for contradiction. Man, woman. You don't get two more contradictory words in the world, possibly. Any language, any culture, man and woman is a contradiction. Men and women think completely differently, etc., etc. So if they had said, the word for contradiction in Chinese is man, woman, I would agree 100%. Yes, that makes more sense than the word contradiction in English. But that's not the way it goes. So, like I said, this stuck in my mind just a little bit because partly because while we're talking, she grabs a bundle of silverware wrapped in a napkin, and here's my Maau, and a lid for a takeout container, and here's my ton, and Maau Teon, contradiction. And it was funny to watch. Her son, who was born in America and raised on English, but learned enough Chinese to be able to speak to his parents and grandparents, he was watching this whole thing, and he was a combination of interest and amusement on his face because, I'm friends with him as well as with his mom, and so he knows me well enough, and he knows his mom well enough to know that this is friendly banter going back and forth, but at the same time, it's sort of funny to watch. So that's it, really. Like I said, a funny thing happened the other night. I thought I'd share it. It got me thinking and looking stuff up on the internet and sharing what that's what these videos are all about. So if you saw the subject and you thought this is going to be really interesting and then you find out you think it's boring, well, that's just a contradiction to you, Maau Teon, and I make no apologies for that. Goodbye.